You got 50 to 60 grand to spend on a new compact luxury SUV. Lucky you. You want turbo power, all the options, and unique style. So, in the blue corner, 2022 Acura RDX, which for years has been one of the best-selling compact SUVs in the whole market. In the bluish gray corner is a 2022 Infiniti QX55, which is a brand new crossover coupe. I've got you for the next 10 to 15 minutes, so what will you decide? CarGurus takes you through all 4 seasons and all types of cars and trucks. From first drives to full week tests to thousands of dealer listings. When you're ready to buy a car, we're here for you at every step. There are too many luxury SUVs to count on both hands. Today we've got these two, both fully loaded in the sportiest, most luxurious trims, with similar powertrains, technology, and very eye-catching styling. Let the beauty contest begin. Right off the bat, the Infiniti is going to win this one, and they're both about the same dimensions, same width. They're within an inch of each other in length. Wheelbase is about the same, and this one's about 2 inches lower. Now, why is that? Well, it's a crossover coupe, that arched roofline, these sculpted fenders, the lighting. Everything about this is just really sensual. I'll use that word. It is sensual, especially the taillights. Ooh, they're all LED, and Acura is still using cheap incandescent bulbs for the turn signals. This one's all LED. That makes a big difference. But I'm not completely knocking the RDX. This is the new A-Spec Advance, which means it rides on these new 20-inch wheels that are 15 spokes. That's a heck of a lot of spokes, so it'll take a long time to clean them, but they do look pretty. And it really does echo the NSX sports car. These headlights, the whole stance of the vehicle, even the paint. Apex blue pearl over here, and this is a bluish style gray. It's called slate gray. These cars just look upscale. They look a little bit more special. If you're gonna get a car like this, you should order them in specs just like these. The back seats on both cars have ample space, even the QX55. Yes, this being a crossover coupe, the QX55 is a little tighter, but by measurements and feel, they're pretty equal, which is surprising. I like the bright colors on both, especially the mix of leather and that faux suede. Here's to being bold. Cargo space is also very similar. In the RDX, there's 29 cubic feet behind the seats and 59 when folded. In the QX55, 27 behind the seats, 54 when folded. There's a distinct difference when you sit inside the Acura because everything you touch has a soft feel and a quality texture. The RDX is inspired by the NSX supercar, and it shows, right down to the driving mode selector smack in the center. It's not as simple or elegant looking as the Infiniti, but this car puts you in the mood to drive. The one part I really dislike, this push button pull tab gear selector here that I keep confusing for the engine start button. It's actually right over here. My favorite part though is this metal sliding cover for the cup holders. It's really pretty, it feels really good too. This red band is delightful and mirrors how the taillights trace across the tailgate. Otherwise, it's not as ornate in here, but the Infiniti has a more conventional shifter and a touchscreen, which the Acura doesn't have. Hear that? That's the sound of some really cheap plastic. It's also really hard underneath this material too. It's not as padded. And there's no wireless charger. In a $60,000 car? No thanks. But I am thankful both cars have a sport mode, and I really feel it working in the Acura. Both these cars have a 2-liter turbo 4. Make similar output, but the Acura feels like it's just pushing 30, 40, 50 horsepower more. 272 horsepower in total, 280 pound-feet of torque. The difference being is that this has a real transmission. I say real, it has gears, it's 10 speeds, and it doesn't trip over itself at all. They're perfectly timed, they're really well spaced. You get torque down low, you get efficiency up high. It just takes off. And with the paddle shifters, I have a lot of control. Really nice rev match downshifts. And it sounds good. This is a Honda engine. It's really a detuned version of the Civic Type R, which is one of the most potent turbocharged engines you can get with any 4-cylinder. And because it's made by Honda, it's just smooth, there's not much vibration, it's really refined. And so many competitors in this space offer a Turbo 4 that's the same displacement, right? You can get it anywhere. But I don't like the ones I drive from Mercedes and the GLC, not really. Audi, that's okay, right? A lot of other companies do it. Lexus does it, right? But Acura really has it nailed down. And, well, they also nailed down the chassis too. You wouldn't think that a little compact luxury SUV would actually be sporty, but it is. It really is. And it doesn't bounce you around the suspension at all. Remember, this is the A-Spec Advanced package. It's the sportiest model they make, but it just keeps you comfortable the whole time too. I'm not even in comfort mode. So what's not to like about that? A big part of why the Acura RDX handles well, especially when you really push it, is super handling all-wheel drive. That's a marketing thing, but really what it is, mechanical torque vectoring axle. Honda and Acura, they have a hard time explaining this. I'll try to do it really quickly for you. It shifts torque left and right preemptively. It doesn't break the wheels, it actively distributes them. So you get the power when you need it before you even know that you need it. And when you turn, and believe me, this car does stick pretty well, you'll be thankful it's there. It's optional on most RDX trims, but it's standard on this A-Spec Advance and the regular Advance. For 2022, Acura has retuned a couple of things on the RDX, on the top trims especially. The adaptive dampers, those get some new settings. In particular, the software controlling these driving modes. This big knob here that I like to twist to sport. Well, sport is now sportier, comfort is now comfier. Those are all just software algorithms that they can meet to change the transmission shift points, how the acceleration feels, all of that stuff. It's not like it was far behind before, but it does make a little difference in terms of response and overall feel. Fuel economy is 21 city, 26 highway, and 23 combined. Front-wheel drive models get a little bit more, but you don't want a front-wheel drive RDX, not with this all-wheel drive system that I was talking about before. Acura really has a good feel overall in terms of what they want. Infiniti feels a little lost in that department. Acura knows that, hey, customers want sport, but they don't want to compromise on the luxury part either. So that balance is really hard to achieve. A lot of automakers try. A lot of automakers, even including Mercedes-Benz, don't completely succeed all the time. But in this price bracket, in this market segment, I am pretty impressed with the RDX. Like the RDX, the QX55 has a 2-liter turbo 4, and it makes similar power, 268 horsepower, 280 foot-pounds of torque. The main difference is there's no gears. It's a continuously variable transmission. Now, at lower speeds, off the line, picks up pretty well, right? But as you notice, the revs drop down, then if you want to accelerate again, they go really high and they stay there, and they kind of go vroom, vroom. That's what CVTs do. There's no way around it. On lesser powered economy cars, it's fine. On a luxury car, I'm a little bit torn by it. I don't really think it belongs. I don't really like the response of this, even if I put it into sport. It's just not as involving. The RDX truly has that sporting character, where the QX55, at least from an engine and transmission standpoint, not so much. However, the handling is good, and so is the ride quality. Perfect. Can't complain about that at all. Like the RDX, the QX55 has really natural feeling brakes, not too soft, not too firm, just right. Goldilocks style, I would say. The steering is a bit artificial, and that's because it truly is. This is an electric drive-by-wire steering system. So I'm not actually connected to these wheels with my hands. I turn the wheel's not turning the wheels. Electric motors on the steering rack are turning the wheels. And the system is sampling about 1,000 times a second to monitor what each motion of the steering wheel here is doing. It sounds really complex, and it is, and it's completely unnecessary. From a technical standpoint, pretty cool, but you don't really get the same type of road confidence that you get around a turn or just in general, just moving. At low speeds it's fine, but it feels like sometimes it's overboosted, then it's not. Infiniti's been doing this for a while. They've had it since the 2014 Q50 sedan. It's definitely tuned better than when it started, but it doesn't feel as natural or progressive as the Acura RDX. All-wheel drive is standard across all 3 trim levels. There's no special torque vectoring or anything like that. As a result, at the limit, the RDX definitely has the QX55, in the corner. It's down here, RDX is up here. But in everyday driving, it's right up there with it. From a handling perspective, really, it's perfect in that regard, and it's a lot of fun. I just wish the powertrain kept up with this chassis. I really wish they put like a Turbo 6 in it. I know it's not compatible, but man, it would transform this car. It really would. But here's where Acura and Infiniti both don't get it right. Acura uses a touchpad that requires you to hold your finger in one spot to select a menu. Infiniti uses a touchscreen, a rotary knob, a regular screen, and more buttons, icons, and menus scattered seemingly everywhere and anywhere. But the QX55 has really useful tech where it counts, like ProPilot Assist. It steers the car accurately on marked lanes and in traffic. There's a head-up display, and the rear camera can sense moving objects and stop the car while in reverse. There's wireless Apple CarPlay, but no wireless Android Auto. Bring a cord for that. Acura also has a really good semi-automated driving system and comes standard with even more driver assist, like blind spot warning and adaptive cruise. The RDX has wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. It's just a shame that both infotainment systems aren't as good as other competitors, like BMW. And oddly, you can buy a well-optioned BMW X3 or X4 pretty close to the Infiniti's price, which is $60,495. The Acura is loaded for $53,645. And remember, there are so many good competitors: Audi Q5, Mercedes GLC, Volvo XC60, Lexus NX, Lincoln Corsair, Jaguar E-Pace, and on. For overall value, quality, and performance, I'm picking the Acura RDX. It's just a more cohesive package than the Infiniti, which really suffers in powertrain dynamics and the interior design. Now that car is still pretty good. You're getting a lot of car, comes with a lot of features, and it is prettier, but all day, it's gonna be this car for me. What do you think? There's so many different compact luxury SUVs, crossovers, crossover coupes out there. Tell us, what do you want us to review next? And go to CarGurus.com to find your next car. And of course, subscribe, because that's where all these videos live. We're here to help you guys. So we'll see you next time.